Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and I finally have clarity into what's happening over at the Vuhledar region, Vuhledar city. And so let's start with SuriyakMaps is correct. So what happened was that in the latest information update from Rybar about the situation over at Vuhledar, they confirmed that the Russian forces actually lost control of the dacha east of Vuhledar. So in this area here, the Ukrainians indeed have recaptured this region, and the Russian forces actually have been pushed back. But they did try to counterattack. The Russians are indeed currently still trying to push. Looks like this attack on Vuhledar is unusual. It's totally not the way how we understand the Russians usually operate. Usually they do not take such risks, but it looks like the Russian forces are very determined to try to take Vuhledar. So previously, the Rybar has reported that the Russian forces actually captured something like this, and they took the northern half and maybe even go into a bit. They got the water plant there, the water pumping station. So and then we were told by the pro-Russian sources that the Russian forces then tried to attack into Vuhledar from the eastern side at the water plant. The water pumping plant. So because they have captured the dacha over here. So this thing have been counteracted by the Ukrainian reinforcement that has been streaming in from the quick actions that is done by the Ukrainian defense command. They have been sending reinforcement all over. They have established a major defense or firing point at this forest belt around here in the north of Vuhledar. They also have another defense and firing point over at this northeastern part of Vuhledar as well. So this line and this line and this line is now all with Ukrainian forces, and on top of that, they have been sending a lot of troops into Vuhledar itself, and they have successfully retook this region and pushed back the entire Russian forces back out of Vuhledar. This information is now confirmed by Rybar, and if you look at Rybar's mapping, previously we have mapped it in this way, that the Russian forces has been pushed back this much, and this is actually confirmed in a way by Rybar's mapping that in Rybar's mapping, the confirmed Russian control line is actually this southern line. So this is southern line here is actually the confirmed control position. So we can actually like put some markers to put this is the Russian defense region. They are actually holding these positions maybe at this forest line here perhaps, and so these are the regions here that the Russians are actually holding. But as I mentioned multiple times in my reporting, that the area here is extremely open and low as compared to Vuhledar. So the Russian forces do not really have control over this area here. It's unlike they don't really have control. They basically just pushing out. So in the latest information coming from Rybar is that the Russians did indeed push back. They have a counteroffensive. They are pushing back at the Ukrainians. They defeated the counter attack and then they pushed back. And the Ukrainians themselves had actually pushed back to the urban region. So let me redraw this a bit so that we can actually show this thing. So the Ukrainians actually do the counter attack, and then they actually got pushed back. So currently the defense line is along this area here, and the Ukrainian forces also mined this entire region here. This entire region here is now remotely mined. They send the kind of artillery that they fire, and then instead of dropping explosive, they actually drop mines. So the entire region here in the outer roads, as well as the entrances, the entrances that is going through into Vuhledar is all mined out. So which means the Russian forces, if they want to actually penetrate into Vuhledar, is now going to be even more difficult, because all the roads leading into Vuhledar from the south and the southeast is all mined. So, and then you want to clear, of course the Russian forces have the ability to clear the mines, but you can't really clear mines out in the open with the high points and firing points in all over Vuhledar, able to shoot at you at from any angles. So it's getting very tricky for the Russians. And then as we are seeing this attack towards the South Donbass mine, which is actually confirmed by Rybar. So perhaps the SuriyakMaps have a very good friendship with Rybar. I have no idea, or maybe they just have the same sources. So Rybar actually corroborated the claims of SuriyakMaps that the Russian forces is actually trying to push towards the South Donbass coal mine. The Ukrainian forces actually in this position have their own, they have set up a field hospital over here. So injured soldiers are actually being pushed back to this region, whereas there is also reinforcement reported sent to this highway that is linked to Mykilske. So which means that the Ukrainian forces is likely to continue to stream in to hold up this line, and probably along the forest line, to ensure that the Russian forces are not able to penetrate into the South Donbass coal mine. Because if the Russians are able to do this, then the Russians will be able to skirt behind and totally encircle or go around Vuhledar, cutting off all these resupply routes, and that will be disastrous, because the Russians can also go from the other side as well, from another area. So the Ukrainians definitely are doing whatever they can. I can tell that the Ukrainians this time around really are trying their best not to let this place fall. It feels different from the Soledar situation, where I think in Soledar the Ukrainian forces seems to have collapsed a bit too easily during the few days that the Russians are making huge progress. It seems like the entire morale and the will to fight have collapsed. But it doesn't seem to be the case at Vuhledar. Even though the bombardment is crazy, the Russians are using flamethrower systems at Vuhledar itself. I think despite that, if the Russians are bombarding the city, the Ukrainians are continuing to send forces in. So it does seems to show how important Vuhledar is for the Ukrainians' defense situation around this region, and I think this fight is not yet over. So there are some rumors from fake mappers claiming that the Russians are already in the city. They are holding up this much region of Vuhledar. That's fake news. If you saw that information, learn to just not read them anymore. I gave my warning, so don't go into the comment and tell me my information is wrong, because I know where all these rumors come from, and they are all fake. Anyway, thank you for watching, and do press the like button. That will help to promote this video, and hopefully this is not boring to you, and I'll see you in the next update.